Anything else before we open the gates here? All
Let
right,
them in.
release the Kraken. Is that everybody from the waiting room?
We just one. Oh, I got one more, but yeah, almost there. Oh, there we go. Two more.
I better speak.
Awesome.
Sweet.
All right.
Hello.
Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. Um, my name is Alicia Burke. I am your vice chair. Tonight's office hours is all about our board candidates. We'll give them you all an opportunity to meet them, learn a little bit more. Um, and before we do that, I'll go through a few introductions of some folks we have here, review kind of the board structure and our voting procedures, so y'all know when to expect what. So first up, I'll start with our candidates. If you guys want to kind of wave as I say your name. We have John Winter and Tony Holt, John Turman, or JT, as most of us know him, Kennerly DeForest, Michael Smith, and B. Lacey. We also have some of actually, I think all of our staff are here. Um, we have John, our office manager, Heather Brooks, and Brittany Humphrey, and of course, our executive director, Melissa Webb. Keep trying to look for the right person. I should not do that. It's very distracting. We also have some board members here. Let's see, Lori Stover, Mike Smith, Corey Hampton, our chair, Kennerly DeForest. I think that's it. Our other board members that couldn't make it tonight are Eric Martyr, Jason Ong, Leslie Scholl, JJ Stapleton. Um, so our board is comprised of 9 voting members and 1 non-voting member, our executive director. Um, and board members can serve 3 years with an option to run for 2 consecutive years or 2 consecutive terms, so 3 years in total. Leslie Scholl's rolling off this year. She's done some incredible work, and we're very grateful for her service. Mike Smith and Kennerly DeForest's first term is ending, and they are running for a second term. So each year, 3 seats are up for election, and each of those seats is voted on by a separate membership category. 1 seat by accredited vendors, 1 seat by accredited operators, and 1 seat by general membership, which includes our individual senior student members, our business to business members, client to business to client members, and sub accounts for those organizational memberships. Um, our board elections are administered by the vice chair, and then we have 2 staff that serve as inspectors. So this year that'll be John and Heather. We do digital voting John, do you have a ballad you can share with folks so they know what to expect?
Yes, he does.
Well, this is
So you
the
ready?
email that you'll receive. At least it's a preview of the email that you'll receive that links to your ballot. And the subject will be Vote Now, Act International 2026 Board of Election, Board of Directors election. And then the ballot itself will look something like this, but you'll only see the seat that you are eligible to vote for. So I've got our current candidates listed in here, but when you go to that link, you'll see something like this with just the two or however many are nominated by the time we get to the election going live. And you will be able to see your full nomination statement if they want to. It's not just on our website, it's also available from the ballot.
Awesome. So voting will start on January 23rd at noon Mountain Time. So all those emails will go out and people have the opportunity to vote until February 6th at noon Mountain Time. I'm so sorry. I have a lovely 4-year-old. Mom, yes, got one by.
Hi.
I did. Thanks, bud. I'll get it tomorrow. Okay. Mom, can you give me a minute? Just one.
While she's talking,
Okay,
I'll
thanks,
add a
bud.
different thing that's election related. Alicia, I was just going to say, while you're just so you could finish your conversation, that if the organization that you work with has an organizational membership, you're an accredited vendor, you're an accredited operator, or you are B2B, B2C within the general membership category, don't forget to take advantage of all of your sub accounts so that all of those folks can vote in the election, and that needs to be finalized by the 16th, I believe. If that is inaccurate, somebody correct me, but make sure all your sub accounts have access to those ballots as well. So,
Yeah,
nice.
that all your dues are paid, membership renewed, etc. So January
Mhm.
16th is the date to have those sub accounts filled out and for good standing. Does anybody have any questions about voting or the board overview kind of?
The
All right,
right
all
people
right.
aren't in seats. I can help with that. You can email me, John, or membership at actinfo.org.
Awesome. Well, with that, we will give each candidate about 2 minutes here to share about themselves. And we'll start with our general membership seats. So the two folks running for that are John Winter and Tony Holt. Um, John, why don't we start with you?
Okay. Um, I guess the best way to describe me is I'm a scout. When I was 8 years old, I joined the Boy Scouts of America, and I've been a member ever since. I've been involved in that organization for longer than I care to say. Um, but it has taught me a lot. In fact, the Scout law is something that I try to live by. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. I try to do all those things. And I've tried to serve well as a member of ACCT. I think I've been a member since the conference at Nashville in the early 2000s. And shortly afterwards, when the Operations and Training Standards Writing Committee was formed, I was asked to join that, and I served on that for a number of years, as well as the Standards Development Committee, which then evolved into TIRE. And I recently rolled off of TIRE about a year ago, and I've chaired the Accredited Procedures Task Force for the past year, I guess. and have enjoyed doing that. And I wouldn't ordinarily seek out something like this, but I was asked to. So I'm here and willing to serve if elected.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Tony, you're up.
Am I off mute? Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, John's a tough act to follow. I might vote for him myself. Amazing guy. Thank you, John, for all your service. So I'm the CEO of Go Ape. I've been in that position now for less than a year. Just a little bit about me. I think I know about half the people on this call pretty well, but give you a little bit of background. Married, I've got 4 kids ranging between 13 and 27. I'm big into mountain biking. I do a little bit of enduro downhill racing, hiking all over the world, and indoor rock climbing. So I've been, I'm very passionate about getting people outdoors, getting people up in the trees, getting people active, and having people create amazing memories. I've had a little bit of a probably an unconventional path for ACCT. I started out in the restaurants, which is a little bit rare. I was there mainly at McDonald's. Yes, the McDonald's that serves burgers, but owns all of the greatest pieces of real estate in the globe for over a decade. There, I worked for the corporation for a while. I ran a franchise for a while. I was an independent business consultant. I was on the National Leadership Council that kind of set the strategic direction for 13,000 locations, the national technology team. And one of the coolest things was running the busiest restaurant in the Midwest. We had a lot of fun doing that. Then I had a friend who ran an indoor recreation business, and I needed a different quality life at the time. I said, "Yeah, let me check that out." And it was actually awesome. It was like running a restaurant without having to deal with food, and we still employed similar people, much better hours, and just an awesome quality of life. And an opportunity came up for us to open up an outdoor location, so we went through the process of building our own park, and started to get involved in ACCT at that point. Just realized just how important it is to have really strong relationships, and a really strong community. Just because running a business is not easy, and running an adventure park or similar is even harder in many ways. So, what I feel like I bring is a lot of passion to the industry for just getting people out and doing something adventurous, creating memories, getting off their phones. Um, what I bring to the board, I think is just when I come to an organization, I've done a lot of volunteer work and stuff like that. Really try to build off the past. We're so blessed to have so many people who've been passionate and built an amazing road to this point. Really build off connections and collaborations. But I also think our industry has a lot of environmental challenges going on when it comes to relevance, demand, competition, economy, regulation. I think we really need to work together, and take these things seriously. So I hope to be able to do that and be part of be part of those solutions. And then we're going to have to innovate and really grow to continue to be relevant, and get as many people up in the trees or on the courses and doing things as possible. So I look forward to those things. My approach when I join a leadership is just ask good questions. I've tried to build a career off of knowing what questions to ask, build alignment, and just bring in the future forwards for success. And I think my current role as one of the largest operators gives me a unique set of skills and insights that I think could be very helpful for ACCT to succeed in the future.
Great. Thank you, Tony.
That might have been longer than 2 minutes. Sorry.
Okay. I wasn't timing any of us, so.
Okay.
Next up, we'll hear from our accredited operator candidates. Um, so those are Michael Smith and B. Lacey. Mike, why don't we start with you?
You're on mute.
I've been fortunate enough to have a career in this industry that's spanned over 3 decades, and in addition to adventure education using challenge courses to also serve Outward Bound West and Pacific Crest Outward Bound and Northwest Outward Bound. It's gone through several iterations over the years. Um, but I've been truly passionate about the power that well-structured novel adventure education programs can have on individuals and on communities. And that spanned from running traditional challenge course programs where we served, and I think our peak year is probably 50,000 students a year in the Detroit and Buffalo areas, to going ahead and being one of the early innovators in the canopy tour industry with Steps in Bonsai Design, and then moving off on my own to create a brand called Arbitrek Canopy Adventures. So while a lot of my experience is rooted in programming, and that's really my passion, I have worked for many years as a vendor. Built, I think, 18 large scale commercial courses over the years that at last count have served roughly 3 million participants. So I feel really it's really a blessing to be able to go ahead and serve on the board and to give back a little bit. I've served 2 terms on the board, first from 2014 to 2017, and then now from 2023 to present. Both times I entered the board, I didn't realize it, but we were about to enter executive director change. And so I've been through 2 very difficult leadership changes. And I think if you ask board members here, probably what I'm best known for is being willing to do the mundane things to get the job done. For the last 3 years, I've served as the secretary, and it's not a very glamorous job, but prepping people for meetings, putting together policy history, and working on documents has been a big contribution for the last couple of years. I've enjoyed having my hands on a lot of different things in the last 3 years. Have definitely been a difficult run. My interest in running for a second term right now is this leadership change. I think we finally have the leadership in place that we need. We've taken care of a number of projects that were critical as far as realigning the standards development process, getting vendor accreditation, the update out there. Still some bugs to work out in that, but the team's doing great with that. And I think we've positioned ourselves finally to really move forward and progress with the new strategic plan and look at the next evolution for ACT. Comes at a time with a tough economy where staffing has been hard. There's been pressure with materials and with equipment. And I know a lot of operators are looking to ACT for direction. And so if I were to be reelected, I think areas of passion for me, in addition to seeing the standards development process and standards development education get out there so more stakeholders and voices are heard, would be to focus heavily on the marketing and expansion of ACT into new communities as well as government regulations, and to really build a lot of those kinships with regulators, both in the United States and Canada, as well as with our international community to expand ACT's outreach.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Yes, Mike is always very willing to do the work.
Yes.
Next up, we have B.
That's a hard act to follow, Mike. So I'm going to do my best. Hi, everybody. My name is Bea Lacey. I'm the current Senior Program Director of Challenge Courses for the YMCA of Greater Charlotte, which basically means that within the Greater Charlotte area and the 21 branches, camps, and centers, I oversee all of our challenge course activities and anything that happens to be related to climbing or involves trees and wire. So I oversee a variety of activities. My background is actually varied in the industry. Like many of us, I stumbled into the industry I have a degree in behavior and training, but for large carnivores. So I started out as a behaviorist for lions and tigers at a sanctuary in Texas and decided that I wanted to do something different and sort of stumbled into this industry and sort of found my home here. Um, I have worked with a variety of different organizations and institutions in my time in the industry. It's been over 10 years since I started as a seasonal guide and was like, wow, this can be a career. Amazing. I have worked with professional vendors. I've worked with individual operations, groups of operations, things like that, and have really found my niche in helping those operations find their groove and figure out what needs to be done in order for them to be successful and sustainable. Um, One of my biggest, I guess, assets is my curiosity. I always want to learn and I always want to be involved more. That led me to get my level 2 professional inspector certification as well as my operational reviewer certification. So kind of dabbled in a little bit of everything in my career and just absolutely love it. Sorry, my cat's trying to come into the frame. So one of the biggest things for me, I think, on the board that is just really close to my heart is staff training and staff retention, just because I know that all of the organizations that I have worked with and for have struggled with that. And my passion is for the people and the professionals who are out doing the work. So finding ways to help operators and the professionals in our industry face those problems, whether it be, clearer regulatory understanding, giving best practices, things like that, and kind of helping folks understand the standards and their application, as well as helping ACT grow with our industry and the needs of an ever-changing industry. And especially in, like Mike mentioned, the economy that we're currently in, we're going to need to start getting creative and figuring out new ways to stay relevant. So one of my other big passions is having a culture of incident reporting, right? So finding ways that we as an industry can come together in a non-judgmental and non-punitive way to talk about things that have happened so that we can prevent future incidents from occurring and we can share that knowledge. So a couple of things that are important to me, and I look forward to seeing where this goes. If elected, I would look forward to serving. If not, I won't feel bad about having lost to Mike.
Wonderful. Thank you, B. Let's see. Our next seat would be the accredited vendors, and our candidates for that are JT and Kennerly DeForest. JT, why don't we have you go first?
Okay, thanks, because I don't really want to follow Ken Hurley.
I don't want to follow JT.
Oh man, you want to just tag team and go side by side?
Maybe you guys could do it for the other person.
Yeah.
Mix it up on the last one.
Oh, that would be good. I'll just run through it. I'm JT. I've been in the industry for a bit. I started out working for an accredited vendor and really was just kind of grinding along until I got invited to join the inspector certification task group, or the panel, whichever it was in the end. It changed names too many times. And that invitation really brought me into the realm of feeling included and really put my passion forward to spending the time volunteering and made the connections I needed to grow in the industry. And through that, I served on the QCP task force. In part of that time, I worked as a reviewer and staff reviewing accredited vendors, and really got to know a lot of people. Really got to see a lot of that system. And in there, I really realized that education, proactive engagement, and really having that come with educating our people our community, how to responsibly interact in all of those environments and learn and grow so that we have a good fostering group that is able and invited to participate. and that invitation really helped me. And that's really my passion, is to help invite people into the industry, to grow them as people, our community, growing them as people and as career-minded individuals in our industry. And so through that, I really want uh, to help the association foster that, either through being a member of the board or through future volunteer positions.
Great. Thank you, JT. And last up, we have Kennerly,
Last. All right.
the best for last.
Oh, well. Hi, I'm Kennerly. I've, like everyone here, had an unusual sort of transition into this industry. I obviously started in Australia in outdoor education, and that led me to, the summer camp in the United States. That led to, oh, I'm going to help build some ropes course and develop a program for the summer camp. That led to building. That led to, oh, other camps need advice. And this was back in 1992. So I started doing that, and I've been involved in the industry for a long time. I when Warren Elmer was the executive director of ACCT, I was attending conferences. So that's, for some of you, you might actually know who that person is. Dick Hammond probably knows. Uh, so, and like JT mentioned, that sort of invitation and mentoring that came through. I was mentored by an existing vendor that brought me in. I started my company in 1997, became a professional vendor in 2006. And as soon as I became a vendor, the invitations quickly flowed to, you need to start volunteering and giving back to this association. So I joined the review committee back in 2006 when it was a review committee, and I have a long history in the association and with the American Camp Association of looking at the accreditation process. And so that's sort of where I'm still on the vendor side. That's where I kind of have my passion. And I think that the new program and rolling out the new program and developing that, getting through the first three cycles, understanding where we're at with that, and really inviting, like using the invitation that JT said, inviting new companies into the association, because I think the program is much stronger and it is much more accessible. So that's sort of where a lot of my passion lies, and working with the existing vendors that we have and making sure that they are getting the information, they are getting what is needed for them to survive in this challenging economy. Uh, so yeah, that's a little bit about me. My official title, so I now work for Experiential Resources, and my official title is sommelier. So I have a glass of wine with me. And I talk wine with Corey every once in a while. So yeah, I have loved serving on the board for the past 3 years. The connections, the leadership, I think Mike said it really well. We are set up incredibly well for the next stage of ACCT with the group that is in place right now. The systems that have been put in place, we're in a great position to really push forward. And I would be excited to be a part of that. And if JT does, get across the line before I do, I will very quickly fall into another volunteer spot, because this association has given so much to me that I will not kind of just take a break. That's not in my nature. So there we go.
Great. Thank you, Kennerly.
I didn't plan on saying any of that, but that's okay.
It was perfect. We will ask that JT fill in as the board sommelier.
Oh yeah, you're going to have to bring
Right,
wine to board meetings. That's your
yes.
responsibility.
It's a burden.
I can do that, but I will be calling Kennerly for advice.
Awesome. Well, at this point, we'll open it up for some Q&A from those attending. So if you have any burning questions, we can kind of put our candidates in the hot seat here. I do have one to start us off. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
And why?
I'm gonna need a reason.
I've got one. I don't know if you'd call it a superpower, but I've always admired swallows, how they can fly so fast and so low to the ground and just move with almost little effort. I'd even eat a ton of bugs if I could do that.
I would love to be able to teleport. That would make life so much easier to just
So
snap your
convenient.
fingers. And yeah, I'd love to be able to go and, because in this industry, you make friends all over the country and all over the world, and then you only get to see them once a year or however often. So I'd love to be able to just teleport and see all the people that I love.
Nice.
That's not fair. Teleportation has been my thing.
Yeah, likewise. I was just like,
And
okay, being
Why do you think I
Australian, it's
jumped
like,
in
what?
so fast? I had to get it.
It only takes me like, 16 hours to get home. And, it would be nice if that could be a bit quicker. So, and there's far too many interesting places in the world to visit. The bucket list is long and distinguished. So like I'm going to steal JT and B's and say teleportation.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to miss out on the journey, would you?
There are times, but recently at airports, I have seen some of the best of human behavior, and I have witnessed some of the worst. So if I could forego an airport, that would be fun.
If I had a superpower, it'd be to teleport other people. No, I'm just joking. I'm totally joking. No, this is actually a little bit sappy. If I had a superpower, I think it would be that I could like swap two people so they could see the perspective of the other person. I think that would solve a lot of problems in our world. Like just snap your fingers, say, "Hey, just live that person's life for a day," and maybe to make me a better person too, to be able to do that.
Hmm. Mike.
Well, it's not growing hair.
Or it could be. That could be your
Well, it
superpower.
could
Like,
be, but you know what? Despite the fact that I've been cutting my hours back significantly and trying to move into early retirement, I think there's just so many things I want to do. It would probably be stamina and patience, but um, just
being able to stretch time.
yeah,
Make more time in a day.
yeah. So.
Any other questions?
Hey, Matt Marcus here. I'll ask a sort of brass tacks question. Uh, what is or what are plural or singular, the things that you think ACT needs to do more of, differently, better, however you want to sort of couch that?
I'd like to speak to that. One of the things I've enjoyed about being a part of ACCT is this sense of community. It's such a collegial atmosphere that I've only enjoyed in the scouting organization. Haven't seen it anywhere else but in ACCT and scouting. And I think we should do everything we can to preserve that and to encourage that to grow, because I think that's our greatest strength.
I would agree with John. I think we have a lot of good momentum going into our learning management system and the educational side of our programs and certification. But I think that community and not losing that networking for the same reason that I believe that our type of programming is more in need now than ever, with people feeling disconnected and separated in our communities. I think the same thing is true here. When times get tough and economies are hard and staffing is difficult, people tend not to have the time or the effort to go ahead and communicate and reach out and network. And I think over the last 3 years, with maybe 4 years, with the number of just catastrophes that we've had in this industry, from fires to floods to storms, I have seen the best of our community, and unfortunately, at times, I've seen the worst of our community. Like to see a lot more of the best of our community, with people reaching out and helping, not only other operators and members, but their communities. Um, it's been really amazing to see the response from this community specifically to natural catastrophes and crisis in their communities.
I think that our association does do community well. I think we are poised to further our educational branch and really with our learning management system and all of that really kind of push forward. We've also been doing pretty good at sharing some information and giving people a chance to uh, share their thoughts and movement, especially with like the pins coming out on the standards and kind of moving that forward and a lot of the work that's going on. And I think that through the invitation to people to participate and creating and kind of moving forward how that participation uh, has some responsibility and has some weight for the community to interact and to speak their voice. I think that's the area that we can continue to grow on is both the education of what is there, and it's also how the process moves forward, both through standards development and improvement, but also through our educational, through our mentorship, through our growing the waves of the next people, the people that are going to follow folks like Dick and John through through the next wave and see some of these really great um, newcomers into the industry grow into uh, the folks with the gray hair and the list of volunteer positions. So I think that's an area that we can continue to grow, and it's very important for us. So
To kind of add to JT, because I agree with everything that you just said, I also want to see ACCT continue to evolve. We've seen so much evolution in just the way we approach things as an association, particularly since COVID. We all had to take a beat and take a breath and figure out why we were doing what we were doing and how we were doing it. But I've watched ACT in particular take a lot of steps to evolve and really assess our programs, our standards, things like that. And I want to continue to see that happen so that as the next generation comes into their own in this industry, they feel that there's a place for them and they feel welcome and they feel that they get to be a part of the building blocks of the careers that they're building and the operations and the companies that they're building.
I think Dick has his hand raised.
Yeah. You're
Let
on
me,
mute,
let
Dick.
me, yeah, let me
Yeah,
come
there
off
you
mute there. Sorry. Uh, well, JT and B kind of answered or gave an inkling too, but I'm curious. I totally agree. I think ACCT is in a marvelous position. What the board we have, the staff we have, the things that are in place with the learning management system. I think I think we're right on the cusp of really doing some great things. So I'm curious from the people running for the board here what specific, if you can be, things you would like to see ACCT accomplish in the next 3 years to move us in that positive direction. And I think we're standing right on the beginning of that starting line, going, okay, go. Well, where are we going? What specific steps would you like to see the association take as we move forward, internationally, locally, jurisdiction wise? Just where would you like to see, and what are you passionate about, I guess? What would you like to see ACCT accomplish in the next 3 years?
I'm releasing at least one new set of standards. One updated set of standards.
By July 18th.
Yeah. I mean, I say multiple because I think we have the opportunity to reinforce our process that we has been, John was a huge part of, and from that be able to leapfrog and go straight into another round, and really improve our standards and make it far more robust and I was going to say relevant, but our standards are very relevant. But I think we can really strengthen our standards, and that has a very much a lead-in effect to the fiscal health of the association. So very, very like next 3 years, which is pretty short term. I see that as being a real primary goal for the association in amongst a lot of other odd things, but I see that as being a real focus.
I think we've come a long way with our standards process. And I think the education is going to help a lot. But I think we still have a bit to go in terms of making our process more open and transparent and inviting to the rest of the industry. Not because we've intentionally kept them out, but we haven't intentionally figured out better ways of engaging people and helping them to be a part of it and feel a part of the organization. And I think that'll also go a lot further to help with the collegiality of the organization as well. Because when people feel like they're a part of something and a standard comes out that they were a part of, it fits a lot better.
Yep.
I would like to see along the same lines the continued growth of our programs, right? We have 3 really wonderful accreditation programs, and I want to see them utilized. I want to see people recognizing the value that comes from these programs and being a part of these programs. And so I think that education and that invitation for people to join and understand, as well as hearing the feedback from the folks who are currently in the programs and understanding what value we're offering in this market, especially as our economy does what it's going to do, and how we can also create that invitational atmosphere for our programs for the international community as well.
And I think through that, the concepts, everybody's kind of we're in a lot of alignment. I think my real big push is the education on how to effectively interact with both the standards development and approval process and all of that, so that our people understand how to do it and how to do it efficiently, and that we have systems in place to do that. And I know that's the pathway that we're on, and that's an area that doing that effectively and efficiently are really my passion on that front.
I've always believed that education is key to improving programming, but also reducing risk. And I think the route that we're taking with that through standards development and some of our investments over the last couple of years is really key. But at the same time, I woke up this morning to a call from CNBC in Ontario about the injury to an 11-year-old. I think it was a fatality to an 11-year-old in Ontario, seeking comments and advice, and then had to deal with 2 other experts and a lawyer from Morgan and Morgan, which is a hedge fund backed plaintiff mill that is seeking nuclear verdicts in our industry. And so I think it's critical as we move forward to focus on that education and through that credentialing of individuals who have demonstrated competencies in education, but also to really ramp up our outreach for government relations to help explain the value in education, networking, and credentialing, but also to proactively reach out to these governments and also to insurance companies to help them understand what it is that we're facing. Um, Working as an expert in the field right now, I I feel like I do a good job at it, but I feel very overwhelmed by the amount of money being poured into the plaintiff side of this industry. And I think we, as an association, need to be really proactive in educating our members so that they're prepared to handle it, but also proactively reaching out to governments to seek additional protections for the inherent risks that um, are are contributory to our environment. Because some of these verdicts are looking like doomsday provocations and prophecies for our industry, unfortunately, with asks being in the tens of millions of dollars rather than what they used to be, which was in the tens of thousands.
A less uplifting comment, but well said.
Unfortunately, we've been through it. It's a cycle,
Oh yeah.
right? Like
Oh
we've
yeah.
been through these insurance crises, we've been through other things, and
Yep.
it's unfortunate. I think there was lots of growth that occurred for a while, and then there's some labor challenges that occurred in our industry. But we're seeing challenges internationally that other countries are facing as well that are going through the same cycles that we did, which is that when proactive actions aren't taken and every jurisdiction goes ahead and responds individually, it becomes very challenging
Yes.
for people to understand what the duty of care is. Um, what our hope would be is really to focus on the quality of programming. But unfortunately, I think we're in a cycle coming up now where we have to be really realistic about some of the risks that are posed by us and some of the challenges that come with the business we're in. I don't think anybody ever gets into this business with the idea that they'll hurt somebody or may hurt somebody's family. But that's just the reality of inherent risk. And I think we all have to be very aware of that reality and forever seeking to be better at the jobs that we do and be able to provide better content as an organization to our members or share member to member strategies that go ahead and raise all with the raising tide, raise all boats, right?
Yep.
And do a better job for our communities and our families.
Thank you, everybody. This is what I was hoping to hear because I agree with almost all of the comments here about the association being more proactive rather than reactive to what we're doing. That what we're doing is going to help the industry, and for all the jurisdictions and all the the mess that's going on, if we're not proactive about it, then we wind up having to defend what we're trying to do. And I really encourage the board, this one and the one that's about to be elected, to be that professional association and be out there tooting our horn about why we're doing what we're doing to keep people safe and make it the profession that we all want it to be. I think in the last, going back to COVID and things like that, we've been sitting back on our heels trying and reacting to what's going on rather than being out there being more proactive. So I appreciate the comments here and I wish you all the best of luck in running for the board. Whether you make it or not, you're wonderful people and you're doing awesome jobs. And unfortunately, I can't vote for all of you, but I will vote for the ones that I can. I'm from Texas, so you vote early and vote often. So I will vote early and vote often. So
Well, I think what every good organization has three forces that has restricting forces, stabilizing forces, and driving forces. And a healthy organization has a good balance of those three things. And I think ACCT has just a wealth of of people assets, people who care, people who have good character and have been around for a long time, and they're extremely competent. Everybody on this call, and then dozens and dozens of others. I think moving into the future, really leveraging all three of those forces, being aggressive about growth, intentional, as John put it very well, very intentional about growth. We have to evolve as B took it, as B throughout there. Like there needs to be an evolution, but we need to do it preserving the assets and the community that we do have. And then the messaging is critical, but the messaging is important on all three aspects. That restrictive messaging that Michael's talking about is very important to get clear because number one, we're all in this together, whether we like it or not. It's not us versus each other. It's us versus Disney and, Main Event and all of the zoos and everything else that's going on out there. So if one of us falls, a customer doesn't really know the difference between Go Ape and any of my perceived competitors. So we absolutely need to get that message across and the education across. But the message also needs to be clear so people don't overreact because I've seen organizations start to play it too safe as well. And so we need all three of those forces to be in balance for us to succeed in the future. And again, just be super intentional about bringing that future forward and being intentional about growth.
Thank you. This has been some excellent dialogue. It's been so great to hear from all of you, and I'm really excited about that excellent slate of candidates we have. Regardless of how the votes land, I'm very confident that we'll have a strong board ready to move the association forward. Yeah. So I do want to remind y'all of some important dates coming up. So nominations are still open until the 16th. So we may end up with a few more candidates. Um, Anyone that wants to vote needs to be in good standing by the 16th as well. So that's next Friday. If you don't know, check that you've paid your dues with John. Check your emails first because those notifications come out. Um, and then voting will open on the 23rd and run through the 6th, which I believe is Friday of
Friday at
the
noon.
conference. Yeah. So you will have some time Wednesday, Thursday to talk to some of these folks face to face if you're coming to the conference. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Any last minute thoughts from
Uh,
anybody?
yeah, just Alicia, a couple things as people are planning their travel arrangements to the conference. Please keep in mind if you are elected, there will be a board meeting Sunday morning. What are we starting at? I think 8 to 12 or 8:30 to
Nine,
12.
9 to noon is
Nine,
decided.
9 to noon.
I think,
So
yeah,
um,
you can start at 8, Mike.
I will with the coffee.
Yeah.
But please keep in mind that it's really important because that allows us to discuss and put forth a slate of officers to get things running and also to figure out time for onboarding for new members because once we get through the conference, there's a lot of work that our staff have to do to reconcile everything with the conference. But at the same time, we are kind of at the end of a strategic plan and budgeting, and the new budget comes up at the end of June, which comes very, very quickly. And so there's a lot of work to kind of put forth that strategic plan, come up with KPIs and other goals to go ahead and put forth and know where we're going to focus our money and our attention once we know what the conference looks like.
If I
Thank you.
could,
That's great.
Alicia, the other thing is that we do have one more board meeting in January, and then we'll have board meetings Monday, Tuesday, of the week of conference. Those will be face to face in Oklahoma City. As is always true, folks are welcome to sit in on board meetings, and I'd like to encourage the folks running for the board to do that so that they've got at least a little bit of a heads up on what is on our radar right now. Again, everybody's always welcome, but do know that there's one more Zoom call and then an in-person. We have not yet been able to confirm internet for the conference center, but we'll let you know if that does pan out for being able to join the meeting that is in person if you're not actually there yet.
I threw the link to register for our next meeting up there, and they would use the same link for our face-to-face. Is that true, Corey? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's always the same link.
Save that. Yeah.
Handy like that.
Yeah. Just easier that way.
Yep.
And that next board meeting is January 21st, if you are a calendar person.
At 9:30 Eastern time, 7:30 Mountain time, 6:30 for Kennerly, or earlier.
Depends on where in the world he is that day.
There's a good chance I might be in Hawaii, so that makes it
3:30.
4:30.
And for our board member Jason, I believe it's 11 a.m.
Yeah,
11:30 a.m.
11:30
No, 11:30 p.m.
Yeah, he's late at night.
So, but
Thank you all for being here and for being willing to put yourselves out there to serve.
Thank you. Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks,
you.
Melissa.
Thanks.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Have a fantastic evening.